Our top stories tonight, Breece Hall. Breece Hall was shown working out earlier today. He's already hitting elite speeds on the treadmill. Could Breece Hall be back earlier than we expect? Could Breece Hall play week 1? All that and much, much more from OTAs across the NFL on Player Profiler Today. Oh, Breece Hall is back, baby. He is moving. He is shaking. I mean, just look at Breece Hall. The side to side. He's already moving laterally. That is a good sign for Breece Hall. Even better, Breece Hall is hitting 22 miles per hour per the GPS. That is elite speed, period. Doesn't matter if it's coming off an ACL. 22 miles per hour is elite. Breece Hall is an elite athlete. He is ahead of schedule. It's a good thing that we can see him doing this lateral agility work already in May. These are all good signs for Breece Hall. And according to our friend Jeff Mueller, who did all of the write-ups for these players across the NFL on the Injury Finder, he says, yes, the literature says that it's probably going to be not week 1 maybe, but the literature, the most commonly cited study says, hey, here's the elite running backs, here's the non-elite running backs, here is everyone. Here are all the running backs, regardless of athleticism. Here they are. Let's put them together. But when we analyze the elite running backs, the elite athletes, it's a lot better outcomes for ACL returns. I mean, look at Saquon Barkley. Everyone points to, well, Saquon Barkley was slowed down, but in week 3 and 4, he had a 21.4 and a 29.6 point fantasy performance. The only reason he dropped off after that was because he had a high ankle sprain, and that's not related to the ACL tear. It's unfortunate, but it just happens. And then we look at Edgerrin James, another elite athlete at the running back position. He had a 4-week stretch where he had 19.57 points per game and a 4-week stretch where he had 19.35 points per game. And that was with a partially torn hamstring still. So Edgerrin James, elite athlete coming off the ACL, he did pretty damn good. And of course, the cream of the crop is Adrian Peterson. Everyone knows that Adrian Peterson had over 17% more points scored after the ACL. He was just incredible that year. I'm not saying Breece Hall is Adrian Peterson, but I am saying Breece Hall is going to be ready week 1. Breece Hall is going to have some mega performances. Breece Hall, had he not torn the ACL, there's a chance that he is the RB1 in Dynasty, even ahead of Bijan. Because if he kept up the pace that he was on, he would have been an all-pro probably, Pro Bowler at the very least. Breece Hall was at an incredible rate early in the season. So if he comes back to that form, Breece Hall is probably the only player in the NFL right now that could pass Bijan Robinson to become the RB1 in Dynasty. Cat's out of the bag. The secret has already been spoiled, but this is one of the last chances we're going to have before Breece Hall is unattainable once again. After today, after these clips, you have to hope that the GM who has Breece Hall, if you're trying to trade for him, didn't see these clips. But as we continue to go through OTAs, as we go through minicamp, and if we hit day 1 of training camp and Breece Hall is full go, he's going to be unattainable. He might already be unattainable. Breece Hall is just that damn good. And if you want to know more about Breece Hall and other players in Dynasty football, check out the Dynasty Dominator. Podfather, take it away.
Now, I know many of you are looking for a secret weapon for your Dynasty League, and I have it. It's called the Dynasty Dominator app. You go to the App Store, go to Google Play. It's right there. It's $5 to download, and then every year it's $5 to load the next incoming class of rookies. You can add Superflex, add tight end premium. It's incredible because it allows you to look up players. It allows you to vote on whether a player is a buy, hold, or sell, and then see the market sentiment on that player, and you can compare their lifetime value rating from Player Profiler to their Dynasty ADP at the FFPC, all in the price lookup tool. And beyond that, we have a trade analyzer, so you'll never lose another Dynasty trade again. And in our settings, you can set this is a win now team, this is a rebuilding team, and then we let you compare players. Look at their metrics side by side, prospect metrics, NFL metrics. It's all there. It's $5 in the App Store. There's some add-ons for Superflex and to buy the upcoming rookie class. Every year, you're going to spend $5 on this thing, and it's going to be well worth it.
It's going to be worth it. We love the Dynasty Dominator. We love Breece Hall. And we love Jeff Mueller at JM Thrive PT. Again, he did the write-ups for the Injury Finder. And he's the guy that sold me that Breece Hall, he's going to be back week 1. And Breece Hall, he's going to have some elite performances this year. This isn't going to be Javonte Williams. This isn't going to be J.K. Dobbins. Breece Hall is going to come back sooner than a lot of people think. And Aaron Rodgers is expected to be back on Friday. You know, he is out right now with the calf strain, but looked like he was having a pretty good time a couple days ago at the Taylor Swift concert. As a fellow Swiftie, I get it. Jealous of Aaron Rodgers getting to attend the event, but whatever. Aaron Rodgers expects to be back on Friday. Today, he was just chucking the ball around a little bit, throwing 50-yarders without moving, just standing there, flick of the wrist, 50 yards. That's just who Aaron Rodgers is. And it's making Zach Wilson look worse. Zach Wilson, not a great day for Zach Wilson. Not a terrible day, but not a great day. And for Zach Wilson, when you're next to Aaron Rodgers, you're going to look worse. At this point, I don't really care how Zach Wilson looks, though. It's all about how he develops behind Aaron Rodgers. He should not be playing this year. Shouldn't be playing next year. Zach Wilson, full-on reclamation project, so I don't care what he looks like in May. This is a chance for him to rebuild his career. But it's good news for Garrett Wilson. Garrett Wilson, the juicy route runner, as Robert Saleh has dubbed him. And this is officially my petition to start using the word juicy more in fantasy football analysis. It's a great word. Perfect word. So juicy. Garrett Wilson is juicy. Love Garrett Wilson. Juicy route runner. I know he's going in the second round, but don't care. Garrett Wilson is him. Garrett Wilson is a star. And the Jets love their wide receiver room. They're not interested in DeAndre Hopkins. They've got Garrett Wilson as their alpha. They've got Allen Lazard as their secondary option. They've got McCole Hardman as their speed. They've got Corey Davis as their 4. They've got Denzel Mims and Randall Cobb as their 5-6. I know they missed on Odell Beckham. I thought they might be in on DeAndre Hopkins, but apparently not. As of now, Corey Davis is not with the Jets. He is having a child. Congratulations to Corey Davis and family. And he'll be back soon. But either way, DeAndre Hopkins not to the New York Jets. And speaking of the former team of Aaron Rodgers, his former pass catchers, Jordy Nelson turned 38 today. Happy birthday, Jordy Nelson. And we also got a sighting from Luke Musgrave. Luke Musgrave, remember, he was the first pass catcher drafted by the Green Bay Packers. I know Jaden Reed is the one getting all the hype, but Luke Musgrave was drafted first. I know Tucker Kraft is getting a lot of credit because he probably can block a little bit better than Luke Musgrave. But Musgrave was drafted first. And this is just an awful, awful throw. I apologize that the speed isn't as... Oh, this one looks like it's better. But look at it. He just has to adjust, go completely behind him because of the terrible throw. Whatever quarterback, I can't even remember who the Packers actually drafted at quarterback. I just remember it was a terrible, terrible pick. There were a lot of quarterbacks that should not have been drafted on day 3 that were. And the Packers were one of them. But Luke Musgrave has to deal with that. He still looks damn good doing it. Luke Musgrave, he could very well be tight end 1 for the Green Bay Packers. And we know Jaden Reed is going to be slot receiver 1 for the Packers. This was always obvious. They don't have any other slot receiver unless you want to put Romeo Doubs or Christian Watson there. But to be in those 3 wide receiver sets, all he has to do is beat out Samori Toure, who, yeah, Jaden Reed, day 1 starter in the slot for the Green Bay Packers. And he just moves so effortlessly. Jaden Reed is a stud. Jaden Reed is a star in the making. Jaden Reed is going to be the wide receiver 2 for the Green Bay Packers this year. It's going to happen. Romeo Doubs, I know Romeo Doubs today, he was starting to get some hype. Oh, Romeo Doubs and OTAs in the red zone in the 2-minute drill. He was getting performance. Don't care. Don't care at all. Of course, it's going to happen in shorts. Let's see what happens when the pads come on. Jaden Reed is still going to be getting open. Romeo Doubs is going to fall to third, fourth target because Watson's still 1. Jaden Reed and Aaron Jones are kind of 2, 3. And will Romeo Doubs get more targets than Luke Musgrave? More targets than Tucker Kraft? He's in that area. Behind Jaden Reed, behind Aaron Jones, behind Christian Watson. That's just who Romeo Doubs is. But to avoid Romeo Doubs and to draft Jaden Reed, you want to do it over on Underdog. Podfather, take it away.
Let's take a moment to talk about Underdog Fantasy. Now, many of you have already signed up. Thousands have signed up from Player Profiler already over the years. Underdog has supported us since 2020. Much of what you see on Player Profiler is because of Underdog, because of their support. Get the Underdog app, plug in that promo code Underworld. I used to play Underdog just for the best ball drafts. I mean, the best ball drafts are amazing. These draft rooms fill so quickly, and you can win life-changing money. You want to take advantage of all the sleepers we talk about on this show? Well, what better place than in an Underdog draft room to do that? And I recommend taking your Underdog play to the next level by diving into their NFL pick'ems. It's important to correlate those NFL pick'ems. You can pick both the quarterbacks and the wide receivers to exceed expectations. Correlate them, and you can 5x your payout. Bada bing, bada boom. Underdog Fantasy, the promo code is Underworld. For an instant deposit match up to $100, Underdog is the truest friend of the Underworld.
We love Underdog Fantasy, and Mac Jones appears to love Tyquan Thornton. So Mac Jones is back Jones. Mac Jones is balling out at OTAs right now. Mac Jones, it's his job to lose as the starting quarterback. We already knew that, but just more confirmation that this is Mac Jones' job. Throws an interception to Miles Bryant today, but so does Bailey Zappi to Jalen Mills. And then we see a bunch of interceptions today from Trace McSorley, of course. Mac Jones, though, he's QB1. He is re-energized. He is having a good time. He is happy to have Bill O'Brien as his OC. And he is happy to target Tyquan Thornton early and often. Tyquan Thornton, I know, it's OTAs. Of course, a player with his speed is going to look good in shorts. But Tyquan Thornton also offers something that no other receiver on the Patriots does, and that is elite speed. Juju doesn't have that. Kendrick Bourne, Devontae Parker, they don't have that. Tyquan Thornton is going to be, if not an every down player, he's going to be in 3 wide receiver sets. And he's probably going to be in 2 wide receiver sets. Probably going to be him and Juju. Devontae Parker and Kendrick Bourne will rotate as that 3rd wide receiver. Keyshawn Butte can't stretch the field. This is all Tyquan Thornton. And Tyquan Thornton, there is opportunity here to become the 2nd option or even potentially the 1st option. Juju Smith-Schuster, not that hard to beat out. So Tyquan Thornton, the steam is rising. Things are cooking for Tyquan Thornton. He can do something that no other Patriots receiver can do. Just something to think about. He could be the Jalen Waddle for Mac Jones, stretching the field. But we also hear from New England Patriots camp that, it's the return of Ty Montgomery. He is the 3rd down back right now. Ramondre Stevenson, remember, he was an every down back. He was an absolute workhorse for the Patriots. But that's because he had to be. Ty Montgomery, early in the season, he was that guy. It was Ty Montgomery splitting with Ramondre, splitting with Damian Harris, and then Ty Montgomery goes down. Ramondre becomes a bell cow. Damian Harris gets hurt too, and that's what it ends up being. But the Patriots, they wanted to add a 3rd down back. Maybe Ty Montgomery is still it. We also saw a lot of Kevin Harris and a lot of Pierre Strong because Ramondre Stevenson is limited right now. So we'll see how this backfield breaks up. James Robinson is fighting for a roster spot. I don't think he's really going to be relevant. I think he's going to be the one that gets cut. I think it's going to be Ty Montgomery or Pierre Strong. I think Pierre Strong should probably beat him out, I hope, at the very least. But anyways, we have updates from rookies across the NFL. CJ Stroud was eye-opening. for the Houston Texans. Davis Mills still thinks he's competing for this job. Nah, this is CJ Stroud's job. When D'Amico Ryan says it was eye-opening how on it CJ Stroud was, it's his job, much like it's Anthony Richardson's job. It's official. CJ Stroud has claimed it, and you just have to wait for Bryce Young to beat out Andy Dalton. How interesting is it that in May, we're already confident that the number 2 overall pick and the number 4 overall pick are going to be starting day one, but not about the first overall pick? Very intriguing. And it looks like Tank Dell is going to be starting from day one as well. He's getting a lot of hype from offensive coordinator Bobby Slowick. He is a natural separator. He just gets open. CJ Stroud loves him. He requested they draft him. Seems as though Tank Dell going to have a role early. He's a small guy. We've never seen someone his size excel without elite speed, but Tank Dell seems to be an outlier that we could possibly bet on. He's going to have a role. He's going to play in the slot, and maybe he becomes a target monster in this wide open Houston Texans offense. But speaking of natural separators, we all know that the most natural separator at the wide receiver position in this draft was Jackson Smith-Njigba, and he just balls out, catching touchdown passes and just moving the chains. Jackson Smith-Njigba doing it all at Seahawks practice, catches one over the middle, dives for the touchdown. Oh, that was a touchdown, not a first down like I thought. Either way, he goes deep. Jackson Smith-Njigba takes it over the top. He goes underneath. He goes over the middle. Jackson Smith-Njigba does it all. Jackson Smith-Njigba, you know it. You've heard it here plenty of times, but let me repeat. Jackson Smith-Njigba is the wide receiver one. He's perfect. He really is. I know people will complain about the athleticism, but Jackson Smith-Njigba really is perfect. And finally, for the rookies, we've got Devon Achane. He's getting some hype. He's wearing number 28 for the Miami Dolphins. And by all accounts, number 28 is a player in the Dolphins backfield. Excited to see him when the pads come on. A younger Raheem Mostert, who was more productive in college, who got a heavier workload in college. It's going to be interesting to see what Devon Achane can seize role-wise. But that will bring us to news around the NFL. Trey Lance. Trey Lance is getting all of the reps with the first team. Every single first team rep is Trey Lance. Sam Darnold's QB2. He's working with the second team offense. This is Trey Lance's job to lose. We'll see when Brock Purdy comes back if he starts getting first team reps, but this is Trey Lance's team for this month, for next month, probably for July too, most of August. We'll see when Brock Purdy comes back, but Trey Lance going to be the week one starter for the San Francisco 49ers. I'm starting to feel very confident about that. We know Kyle Shanahan brought in Sam Darnold to try and reclaim him, but looks like Trey Lance is going to say, no, not happening. And it looks like Antonio Gibson is going to have the role we have all hoped for, the third down back, the satellite back, the scat back, the Jerick McKinnon role. Antonio Gibson getting hype once again from Ron Rivera, really shown his pass catching ability, especially in space. He is a load, which we've known. It's annoying that Ron Rivera has taken this long to figure it out, but at least he's recognizing it now. At least Eric Bieniemy will have some rational coaching, some spread offenses. Antonio Gibson going to show out. And we'll see what we see from Jerome Ford as well. Jerome Ford getting some work with the first team offense, and Jerome Ford looking like the primary candidate to replace Kareem Hunt as the third down back. Now, it won't be a one-for-one replacement. It will be more Nick Chubb and less Jerome Ford than it was last year, but there could be some weeks. There were some weeks Kareem Hunt scored 2 touchdowns. There is a chance that Jerome Ford has those weeks. You're never going to know what's going to happen, when it's going to happen, unless there's a Nick Chubb injury. And if there's a Nick Chubb injury, Jerome Ford's suddenly a bell cow. Unless you're worried about John Kelly, unless you're worried about Demetric Felton, Jerome Ford, unthreatened for a role right now. He is the Kareem Hunt this year. I like Jerome Ford a lot. I really do. I'm excited to see what he can do in 2023. And speaking of the Cleveland Browns, they also have Elijah Moore. Elijah Moore is showing out. He is rocking number 8 once again for the Cleveland Browns. He's working with Deshaun Watson. Just a little toe tap along the sideline, a little toe drag swag. Boom. It's the toe down, Elijah Moore. I, I'm excited. I don't like the Browns. I don't like ownership of the Browns. I don't like the quarterback of the Browns, but I like a lot of their weapons. I like Elijah Moore. I'm happy with Elijah Moore reclamation project. I like David Njoku. I like Nick Chubb. I like Jerome Ford. I just wish the quarterback and the ownership weren't so awful, but the Browns are going to be a more exciting team to watch in 2023 than they were last year. And speaking of excitement, we also have Chris Olave and Rashid Shaheed. Now, Rashid Shaheed, we talked about it. He's rocking number 22 now. It's weird. That's a running back number, but I don't care. Rashid Shaheed is just, he moves differently. He really does. Rashid Shaheed, just such an electric jitterbug. He and Chris Olave are just different. They move at a different pace than most receivers. And I know Chris Olave, he's obviously the alpha. Rashid Shaheed is competing to be the 3, but I think it's going to be him. And if and when Michael Thomas goes down, Rashid Shaheed, he could be a difference maker. Aaron Stewart, he is one of Aaron Stewart's favorite players. Rashid Shaheed is going to have his moments. And I hate to be cliche, say he's better in a best ball, but that's the kind of guy Rashid Shaheed is. He's going to have electric plays. He's going to have crazy long touchdowns, and then he's going to disappear for some times. But Rashid Shaheed, the Saints are going to be a fun team. I know it's the off season. I know everything's great. We're excited about every player, but the Saints and the Browns, they're both going to be more fun than they were last year. And isn't it better when football is fun? Yes. Yes, it is. Final piece of news. Post June 1st cuts. Today is May 31st. Tomorrow is June 1st. And then June 2nd on Friday. And on June 2nd, that's post June 1st. So on June 2nd, Dolphins will get $13.6 million. The Browns will get 10.9. The Cowboys will get 10.9. Over $10 million for both of those teams, 13 for the Miami Dolphins. And then the Commanders get $4 million. The Broncos get $3.75 million, and the Cardinals get $3.2 million. Just a couple teams who made post June 1st cuts. But the way it works is, hey, you're a free agent now. You can sign with whatever team you want, but we don't get the money until post June 1st, June 2nd. Then we get the money because it's spread out over 2 years. And we'll also see some teams making some post June 1st cuts. Dalvin Cook, no one will be surprised when Dalvin Cook is cut on Friday. It's coming. Alexander Mattison already replaced him in the graphic on the team's Twitter. The team's been hyping Alexander Mattison. Alexander Mattison won't be a bell cow, but Dalvin Cook will not be a Minnesota Viking in 2023.